Today, we're revisiting our friend Mimi. The last time we saw her, she had just finished her first decade of investing with EdgePoint. As expected with any investment journey, she went through some ups and downs over the first decade, and her financial advisor always reminded her that she was investing for the long term. He helped her stick to the investment approach, and despite short-term drops, her $100,000 investment grew to $436,889 by the end of the first decade. Mimi continued her investment journey with the intention of sticking with her long-term plan and reaching her point B. The second half of 2019 wasn't too eventful for Mimi, but that was a welcome change from the 2018 downturn. Her savings grew slowly and steadily, reaching a new high of $472,376 in early 2020. At the beginning of 2020, she started to hear about a new virus on the other side of the world, but wasn't too worried since it was so far away. She didn't know she was about to encounter an extremely rare, potentially once-in-a-lifetime year that would test both investors and advisors on many fronts. In March 2020, the world suddenly skidded to a halt as the COVID-19 pandemic spread across the world. Lockdowns and panic took over the world and financial markets. Everyone was trapped in their homes. The economy mostly shut down, and the uncertainty caused severe declines in the stock price of any business whose growth during the pandemic wasn't obvious. In only 66 days, Mimi's investment dropped by $165,672 to $306,704, the largest and fastest downturn she'd ever experienced. The average investor was tested to the limit, facing a downturn unlike any other in recent history. Advisors were equally tested, as they had to help their clients manage skyrocketing anxiety levels, with only the best ones able to keep them on track. In a panic, Mimi called her advisor. In this unprecedented period of uncertainty, she wanted to feel safe again. Like many of her friends, she thought the best way not to lose her money was to invest in businesses that everyone knew would survive the pandemic. Mimi's advisor listened to her carefully and then asked a question. Is your goal to experience a short-term feeling of safety, or is it to build wealth over the long term? He told her, although events like these are rare, the market's reaction wasn't. The advisor empathized with Mimi's concerns. In his lengthy career, he'd never seen anything like the market collapse of early 2020. Nevertheless, he reminded her that when it comes to crises, she should always keep a few things in mind. Number one, crises are inevitable, so we shouldn't be surprised or afraid when they arise. Number two, each crisis is different and has its own unique circumstances. Number three, when you're in the middle of a crisis, it's hard to see the way out. And number four, however, all crises end, so they shouldn't impact your long-term approach to investing. He told Mimi that the most important thing in investing is choosing an investment approach you understand and believe in. This helps you stick with it, in good times and bad, preventing you from making emotional decisions that could negatively affect you over the long term. Most investors don't have an approach they stick with. Therefore, in order to feel comfortable during a crisis, they flock to companies that are obvious survivors. But they often pay a very high price for that feeling of safety. Mimi's advisor reminded her that stock prices can change by the second, but the value of a business doesn't. That's why EdgePoint's investment team does their best work during challenging times like this. It's a rare opportunity to buy great businesses at prices below what they're worth. It's how you invest your hard-earned savings, and theirs as well. Despite the extreme market volatility, EdgePoint stayed true to their time-tested investment approach, just like they did during previous downturns. Mimi soon had a better understanding of what her advisor meant, as her portfolio increased in value to $457,241 at the end of December, and although 2020 was tumultuous, her investment was down only 1% from the beginning of the year. By the spring of 2021, the world was starting to see life after lockdown, and her investment reached a new high. At her 13th annual portfolio review with her advisor, Mimi found that her investment had increased by $222,806 from the lows of March 2020. She was pleased that her original investment of $100,000 grew to $529,510 in 13 years, and was reminded again that in the world of investing, The most important thing is having an approach you understand and believe in. Mimi endured large market corrections in the past and had the discipline to stay invested. This experience gave her valuable perspective on what it takes to build wealth over the long term. It's not easy, and she knows she'll encounter more challenges on the way to her point B. She also knows that investing like a rational business owner and ignoring short-term distractions will help her grow her wealth in the long term. She's had 13 years of proof and counting.